Z electric vehicle motorcycle repairs. If you're looking for help fixing your Z electric vehicle motorcycle, look no further. Our comprehensive Z electric vehicle motorcycle repair guide will explain common issues, provide tips, and maybe show you how to repair your vehicle. Check the throttle. Suppose you're experiencing problems related to acceleration in particular. If that's the case, then it's entirely possible that your throttle may need a closer inspection. If you remove the throttle, you'd find that its connector consists of 3 wires and pins, though they could be different depending on the model. Those wires are usually red, black, and green in color. To check your throttle for problems, the first step would be similar to some of the steps used to troubleshoot the battery earlier. Firstly, you should inspect the wires visually to ensure that they form a strong connection. Plus, be sure that they're free from any burn marks or any other damage. While you're there, check for any burnt smells as well. A multimeter can also be used to perform several tests on the throttle. One basic test is a continuity test which lets you know whether or not an electrical current can still flow through the part as usual. If there is continuity, then the part should be in good working condition. If not, then there might be an electrical problem inside. Inspect the wires and their connections. An electric bike is made up of several parts, all of which require a continual supply of power to work correctly. How does that supply of power get from the battery to wherever it's needed? Through a network of wires that run throughout the bike like veins, and the electrical connectors that connect them to each component. Sometimes, when your e-bike becomes problematic, it's not that any particular part has worn out or failed. Maybe that part just isn't receiving the power it needs. So, when you're trying to find out what's wrong with your electric bike, grab a flashlight and inspect every inch of wiring you can find. What you're looking for are cut or damaged wires. Those will need to be spliced together or replaced entirely. In some cases, you may even find burnt or melted wires, which is a sign that there's too much power going through them. Be aware of the battery management system (BMS). Suppose you notice that your e-bike battery is neither charging nor discharging. If there's no power going in or out, it could be caused by another smaller component inside the battery pack called the Battery Management System or BMS. That is a small circuit board, though some people mistakenly refer to it as a chip, inside the battery pack that ensures everything works correctly. It serves a very important purpose, which is to protect the battery from damaging itself. However, if it becomes faulty, it can cause your bike to receive power intermittently or not at all. Don't forget the battery prongs. When troubleshooting and inspecting an e-bike battery, always be sure to remove the battery and check its prongs. The prongs have a straightforward function. They act as the connecting point between the battery and the bike. However, you can also view them as the weakest link. Even if the bike and battery are both excellent, problems with the prongs could stop the battery from delivering power, and the bike from working entirely. So, when it comes to the battery prongs, check to make sure that they're well aligned. Then, ensure that they go all the way in when you connect the battery. Sometimes, prongs aren't firmly connected, which is why the electric bike might suffer from an intermittent power supply, especially when riding on bumpy surfaces. Start with the battery. As an e-bike owner, you'll eventually find that the most common problems lead back to the battery. So, it would be a wise move to start your troubleshooting there before moving on to other bicycle components. To start things off, you'll want to look, smell, and touch the battery. That might sound weird at first glance, but rest assured that there's a good reason for doing all of that. An up-close visual inspection will help you see if there's any burn marks or other damage to the battery that might be giving you problems. Smelling it, on the other hand, will help you sense if any burning smells are coming from the battery pack. As for touching it, well, that's to see if the battery is overheating or not. If it is, that's a clear-cut sign that there's something wrong with it. Burn marks, smells, and overheating are undeniable signs that your battery is problematic and that you should consider replacing it. Source: evbaron.com